Tonight, we delve into the chilling mystery of a teenager who vanished into the cold shadows of the Vermont night. No goodbyes, no witnesses, just a car left behind, wedged against a forgotten farmhouse, her belongings untouched, and her presence erased. This is the disappearance of Brianna Maitland, a case that has haunted investigators and families for decades. Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we trace the footsteps of the missing, the murdered, and the unresolved. And here's your clue tonight. What was the name of the abandoned house where Brianna's car was found? Stay sharp. You just might uncover what others have missed. Brianna Maitland was 17 years old when she disappeared on March 19th, 2004. Her car was found the next day, abandoned at a rundown farmhouse in Montgomery, Vermont. Despite hundreds of leads and intense media coverage, her case remains unsolved and shrouded in unanswered questions. It was a crisp Friday night, March 19th, 2004. 17-year-old Brianna Maitland had just finished her shift at the Black Lantern Inn, where she worked as a dishwasher and waitress. She clocked out around 11:20 p.m., said goodbye to coworkers, and walked to her car alone. The next morning, on March 20th, a Vermont state trooper came across an abandoned green Oldsmobile sedan, parked awkwardly at the side of Route 118. The rear of the car had been backed into the side of a dilapidated old farmhouse, its front end angled toward the road, as if it had been hurriedly abandoned. Inside the car, Brianna's belongings remained untouched. Her wallet, glasses, and 2 uncashed paychecks sat on the passenger seat. Her driver's license was missing, but nothing suggested immediate violence. No blood, no signs of struggle. Still, the vehicle's odd positioning sparked concern. The building it rested against, known locally as the Old Dutch Burn House, only added to the unsettling scene. It would be days before Brianna's parents realized she was missing, and by then, crucial hours had already slipped away. A missing persons investigation began. But in this quiet corner of Vermont, mysteries have a way of deepening before they unfold. Brianna Maitland was born on October 8th, 1986, in Burlington, Vermont. She was raised in the small town of East Franklin, a rural, close-knit area surrounded by fields and forest. Her family described her as independent, resilient, and artistic. She practiced jiu-jitsu, enjoyed painting, and had dreams of pursuing a career in medicine or law enforcement. At 17, Brianna had recently moved out of her parents' home and was staying with a friend in Sheldon, Vermont. She had transferred to Enosburg Falls High School, but later enrolled in a GED program, choosing to take control of her education while working 2 jobs to support herself. Friends and family noted a change in her demeanor in the months leading up to her disappearance. She reportedly became more guarded, withdrawn. There were whispers about her involvement with a new crowd, some with alleged ties to local drug activity. Despite this, those closest to Brianna insisted she was not reckless. She was known to be cautious and mindful of her surroundings, just days before her disappearance. Brianna had been attacked by a peer outside a local party. The altercation was captured in a photograph showing bruising on her face. She filed a police report, but the motive behind the attack remained unclear. This combination of independence and vulnerability made Brianna's sudden disappearance all the more chilling. She was a young woman trying to forge her own path, and she vanished without a trace. From the moment Brianna's disappearance was reported, speculation grew quickly around possible suspects. Law enforcement initially believed she may have left voluntarily. But soon, other possibilities emerged. One name that surfaced was Callie LaCrosse, the woman who had physically assaulted Brianna weeks earlier. The altercation had occurred outside a party, allegedly over personal disputes. Although the event was documented and a complaint was filed, Keeley was never charged in connection with Brianna's disappearance. Authorities later stated there was no evidence linking her to the case, though rumors persisted. Several local individuals with alleged ties to drug trafficking also caught investigators' attention. Among them were Ramon Ryans and Nathaniel Charles Jackson, two men reportedly involved in cocaine distribution in the area. It was claimed by some sources that Brianna may have owed money or witnessed something she should not have. Another theory surrounded an unnamed acquaintance who reportedly had a controlling influence over her. According to reports, he may have exhibited manipulative behavior. But no charges were ever filed. Despite these leads, none of the suspects have been formally connected to Brianna's disappearance. Law enforcement has reiterated that no single theory has been ruled out, and everyone who interacted with Brianna in her final days remains of interest. To this day, no one has been arrested in connection with the case. The investigation remains open, and the identities of potential perpetrators remain a puzzle. The night of March 19th, 2004, unfolded like any other shift for Brianna Maitland. She worked the dinner hours at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, Vermont, clearing dishes, chatting briefly with coworkers, preparing to head home. After her shift ended around 11:20 p.m., she left alone. Heading toward her car parked just outside the inn, that was the last time anyone saw her, knowingly. Some reports claim she may have intended to visit a friend later that evening. Others suggest she planned to return to her shared residence in Sheldon, but she never arrived at either destination. In the early afternoon of March 20th, a Vermont state trooper discovered a car abandoned along Route 118 in Richford, Vermont. It was a green 1985 Oldsmobile parked strangely. The rear of the vehicle pressed into the side of a decaying farmhouse, known locally as the Old Dutch Burn House. The scene was unsettling. The rear bumper had damaged the house's foundation slightly. Outside the car, investigators observed loose change, a water bottle, and an unsmoked cigarette on the ground nearby. Inside the vehicle, Brianna's personal items were left behind. 2 paychecks, her contact lenses, a water bottle, even her medication. Her keys, wallet, and driver's license were missing, but the rest appeared undisturbed. Several witnesses later came forward with claims that the car had appeared at the location sometime between midnight and 4 a.m. Some thought it looked like a staged accident. Others reported seeing the car earlier in the night, but no one reported seeing Brianna herself. More chilling. Some accounts speculated there may have been other vehicles in the area, as if another vehicle had been present shortly after it was abandoned. But no confirmed witnesses ever reported seeing a second car at the scene. Initial police response to the car was minimal, because it was not yet linked to a missing person. No immediate search was launched. The car was towed, and days passed before Brianna's family connected the dots and filed an official missing persons report. By the time investigators returned to the scene, The farmhouse had been trampled by curiosity seekers. Valuable evidence may have been lost or contaminated. Despite cadaver dog searches, aerial surveillance, and countless interviews, no confirmed trace of Brianna was ever recovered from the site. Years later, law enforcement revealed that DNA samples had been collected from inside the vehicle. But those findings were never publicly connected to any suspect. One haunting image remains: the photograph of Brianna's green car, half swallowed by the rotting wood of the Dutchburn house. Its doors closed, its secrets buried deep within the silence of the Vermont wilderness. No confirmed sightings, no confession, and no resolution. Just a 17-year-old girl, gone, leaving behind a mystery that refuses to fade. In the days following the discovery of Brianna's vehicle, Vermont State Police launched a formal investigation, but the delay had already cost them valuable time. Early missteps, such as failing to treat the car as part of a crime scene, hindered progress. Detectives interviewed dozens of individuals connected to Brianna's social circle. They canvassed the Montgomery area, circulated missing person flyers, and contacted out-of-state agencies. Despite extensive efforts, no one came forward with verifiable details about her whereabouts. In 2006, law enforcement brought in the FBI and other federal partners to assist. The farmhouse and surrounding woods were searched again, using ground-penetrating radar and cadaver dogs. But once again, no trace of Brianna was found. Rewards were offered, anonymous tip lines were established. But each promising lead seemed to collapse under scrutiny. And over time, the trail grew colder and colder. Forensics in Brianna Maitland's case presented ongoing difficulties from the start. The vehicle had not been secured when first discovered, allowing weather, wildlife, and human curiosity to potentially contaminate the scene. In 2016, a breakthrough was hinted at. Authorities announced that DNA samples had been extracted from the car and sent for advanced testing, but results were not made public. And no arrests were linked to the findings. Fingerprints, hair, and fiber samples had been collected. Yet without a confirmed suspect to compare against, the evidence remained inconclusive. Technology evolved, but leads did not. The lack of surveillance footage, eyewitnesses, and physical evidence left law enforcement relying heavily on secondhand information and speculation. The rural isolation of the location only complicated the case further. Years passed, files thickened, but answers remained elusive. The disappearance of Brianna Maitland sent ripples through the tight-knit Vermont communities of Montgomery and Franklin County. Locals who once left doors unlocked now double-checked locks. Teenagers were warned not to travel alone at night, and rumors spread rapidly. Some speculated she had run away. Others believed something far more sinister had occurred. Community-organized search parties combed through forests and farmland. Volunteers hung posters, held vigils, and lit candles in Brianna's memory. But as weeks turned to months, fear gave way to frustration, and whispers began to fade into silence. The town remained haunted by the unknown. Regional newspapers first covered the case as a missing teen story. But when images of Brianna's abandoned car surfaced, the narrative changed. Local and national media outlets picked up the story. ABC, CNN, and later Disappeared on Investigation Discovery. each reigniting public interest with new broadcasts. Reporters dissected her final hours, and online forums buzzed with theories, clues, and alleged sightings. While media attention brought awareness, it also brought misinformation. False leads circulated, and attention sometimes shifted from facts to speculation. Still, the press coverage kept Brianna's name in the headlines and her story from fading completely into obscurity. Over the years, several theories have emerged regarding Brianna's disappearance. Some based on known associations, others drawn from anonymous tips. One theory points to drug-related retaliation. According to reports, Brianna may have been in debt or witnessed something criminal. Her brief connections with alleged local traffickers, including Ramon Ryans and Nathaniel Jackson, have fueled this possibility. But no evidence has definitively tied them to the case. Another theory suggests human trafficking. Due to her age, appearance, and the remote location, some believe she was abducted and sold across state lines. But federal investigations have found no supporting proof. There are also those who believe her disappearance was a random act of violence, a passerby, an opportunist, someone unknown. Despite years of speculation, law enforcement has not ruled out any possibility, and the case remains open. There has never been a trial related to Brianna Maitland's disappearance. No suspects have been formally charged, and no criminal case has been brought to court. Over time, several individuals have been questioned, some detained for unrelated offenses, but no confession, no credible evidence, and no body has ever been produced. Legal efforts have focused on preserving the case file, pursuing new technologies, and protecting the integrity of potential future prosecutions. In 2022, law enforcement reaffirmed their commitment. They stated that they continue to investigate and that persons of interest remain under review. Until a breakthrough emerges, the wheels of justice remain still. The absence of a trial does not mean the case is forgotten, only that it waits. What really happened to Brianna Maitland after she stepped out of the Black Lantern Inn that night? Why was her car positioned so deliberately, its rear tucked into the old farmhouse? Who, if anyone, was watching her? No blood, no eyewitness, no final phone call. Years have passed, but these questions remain. Theories shift, suspects fade, and yet the pain for her family never does. There is no gravestone, no final page, only a haunting silence that still echoes across Vermont's wooded backroads, and a 17-year-old girl whose story remains unfinished. Brianna's case has left an enduring mark on the state of Vermont. It sparked new training protocols for law enforcement, highlighted the importance of early missing person alerts, and served as a painful reminder that even in small towns, shadows can hide dark secrets. Advocacy groups continue to raise awareness, posters still appear on bulletin boards, and websites maintain her case files. Brianna's name is now etched into the national consciousness of unsolved crimes, not as a statistic, but as a face, a voice, and a daughter still waiting to come home. What are your thoughts on the disappearance of Brianna Maitland? Could a different turn of events have changed everything? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget tonight's clue. What was the name of the abandoned house where her car was found? Like, subscribe, and join us next time. As always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.